All right, being 7 o'clock, we'll call the common council meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, roll call has been taken.
Yes.
Right, move into adoption of the agenda.
So move, Your Honor. Adopt agenda.
Motion made by Mr. Barrington. Second by Mr. Herter. Any additions or corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next up, approval of 7/18/2023 common council minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion made by Mr. Roberts.
I'll second, Your Honor.
Second by Mr. Fache. Any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Authorization to pay the bills, Mr. Dorsey.
Your Honor, make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $1,322,593.57.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Herter. Any additions or corrections to those bills? Please cast your ballots. Ms. Magowski and Mr. Besaw. That motion is carried 10-0. Any public comment? Public comment? Hearing no public comment, we'll keep trucking along. Next on the agenda, I'd like to introduce our delegate from New London's sister city, all the way from Killaloe, Ireland, Mr. Tony O'Brien. If you'd like to come up and say a few words, we'd love to have you up here.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow councillors, it's a great honour and privilege for me as what we call Cathaoirleach. I was mayor of the county last year, but we call it Cathaoirleach, chair of the Killaloe Municipal District, to have an opportunity to speak to you at your council meeting tonight. Thank you so much for allowing me. Thank you, Mayor, for the welcome you've extended me during my visit. I had a really interesting speech. I can't find it, and I'm blaming Chad. I left it out somewhere, so it's cut from 2.5 hours to probably 1 minute. So I've been coming to New London now for approximately 15 years with my good friends there, Larry and Carrie Kalazinski, and Dave and Sue Tenney, SE down there as well, and many more members of the Shamrock Club who've made me feel very welcome. And the visits have been reciprocated. The Barringtons have come on many of the Barringtons have come on many occasions and are always welcome in Ireland and in Killaloe indeed. The purpose of our twinning or our sister city relationship is, I suppose, to develop an understanding and a friendship, and to see what way we can learn from one another. And, you know, I was in the high school today. I was over with the program that you have for the elderly who get Meals on Wheels, and many of the programs that you run here are exactly and identical to what we have at home. Your geography and topography around here is very similar to what we have. One of your main factors here is the Wolf River. The River Shannon is our greatest natural resource. And we have many, many things in common. We work, and I understand, I'm not going to get a chance to talk to each individually. I know you're busy with your meetings, but speaking to the mayor and indeed to Chad, I understand your difficulties are similar to mine at home in representing the people who elect you. I have to face into an election next year, so I have to please everybody for at least the next 12 months. I'm sure you're well aware of the problems that might cause. I'm not going to delay your time. I suppose I was mayor last year of County Clare, and I keep getting asked about the highlights and whatever of what happened. And what, for me as a public representative, It's the simple things of being able to represent your community and speak to you here on behalf of the people of Killaloe. And I hope to be able to, and I invite you to come to Killaloe, and I hope to be able to return that honour to you. If you're ever in Ireland or in Killaloe, please feel free to look me up and say hello. I'd be disappointed actually if you don't. So thank you once again. As I said, there's no bigger honour than representing your community. And it's the people within our communities that we work for and on behalf of that make us what we are. So for me, as a councillor in Killaloe, Ireland, just to say to you, the very best and best wishes to each and every one of you in the job that you do in representing your community. And thank you for doing it. And the best of luck to everybody in New London. And I look forward to returning my visit and to see many more of you in Killaloe in Ireland in the near future. So thanks.
Before you take off, on the 18th, in 2 days, we celebrate 1-year anniversary of signing of our sister city. And with that, the city of New London would like to present to you this plaque in honor of our sister city. If you look out in our hall, we have the exact same one in reverse of New London to Killaloe. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Mayor. Thank you. And again, no topic. Sorry. I also have a framed photograph of Killaloe by the River Shannon and the boating, and you will see the similarities that come. So, Mayor, for your office or for the office of the council,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So once again, thanks very much for having me. Best of luck with your job. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
All right. We'll start off with standing and special committees. We'll start with Board of Public Works, Mr. Hess.
Thank you, Your Honor. Our Board of Public Works meeting was held Monday, July 31st. It's called to order at 5:15. Motion is made to adopt the agenda. There was no public input. The wastewater treatment plan update, wastewater notes were included in the pack. Updates are given on the 2023 construction project. Director Garsky thoroughly went through the projects currently in progress related to West North Water Street and by Wolf River Avenue. With the use of visual aids, mapping, and photos, he was able to explain details of the obstacles that were encountered and how they were addressed to continue to move on forward, trying not to have any delays. One of the items of concern brought up by Mr. Roberts was parking as the construction moved down on West North Water Street. Director Garsky assured him he is working with a contractor to create the most efficient workflow with staging materials and attainability areas and minimizing the size of the work areas. Next was Mr. Garsky talked about the authority to approve change orders for the addition of $25,000 related to the Wolf River Avenue project. This increases the collectivity up to $750,000 due to the complications that were incurred. Motion was made, carried by all. Director's report. No anniversaries. Elevations taken at West North Water Street, west of Elm Street to address flooding issues. Concrete repair on Jennings Street, looking into more permanent solution. Future agenda items was a large item disposal. Our next meeting date is Monday, September 11th at 5:15. No further discussion. Meeting was adjourned at 6:11. I would like to make a motion to authorize the Director of Public Works to approve change orders in a total collective amount up to $75,000 for the Wolf River Avenue redevelopment utility reconstruction.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Hess, second by Ms. Mikulski. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion is carried 10-0.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Hess. Moving on, Finance and Personnel, Mr. Dorsey.
Thank you, Your Honor. Finance Personnel Committee met Wednesday, August 2nd. Motion was made by Barrington, second by Roberts to approve the agenda. Fire Chief Mark Wolfers said that the state audit a couple of years ago indicated that the state required 2 fire inspections per year per business. However, the city could opt out to conduct inspections just once a year. The process would be for the city to adopt an ordinance to change the frequency of fire inspections. The city did start to inspect per state requirements, but is having difficulty with lack of employees to continue this practice. Therefore, Chief Wolfer requested adoption of the ordinance to change fire inspections to once per year. Motion was made by Roberts, second by Beesaw to recommend to council approval of an ordinance set an annual fire inspection in the city of New London fire limits. Mapping and media specialist, Missy Kempton, presented the IT support contract for the 2024 to the 2026 term for PC Cell Solutions. There'll be no increase in the hourly cost to continue for the 2-year term. Ms. Kempton asked if the committee would like her to RFP for the service. She has found that vendors that RFP tend to be more expensive and not as accessible. Motion was made by Roberts and seconded by Beesaw to recommend to council approval of the contract with PC Cell Solutions LLC for a 2-year contract ending in August of 2026. Jason Bassett, utility manager, presented a resolution to fund the downtown water main project. Motion was made by Roberts and seconded by Barrington to recommend to council for approval of a resolution financing $1 million for the downtown water main improvements. Finance Director Radke reviewed the monthly finance reports. Director's report was also discussed. A request was made by Alderman Roberts to survey the wages of all poll workers, the mayor, and all the persons. Finance Director Radke said that the staff should be able to complete and present this at our next meeting. For me, no further business. The meeting was adjourned at 5:44. For consideration or approval of the monthly license list.
Second. Your Honor.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, second by Mr. Barrington for approval of monthly license list. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried. Well,
Also look for consider approval of a waiver of the rules to adopt an ordinance upon one reading.
motion made by Mr. Dorsey,
Second.
second by Mr. Ritchie for approved waiver of the rules to adopt an ordinance upon one reading. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballot. That motion's carried 10-0.
Consider approval of the fire inspection ordinance.
Motion
Second,
made
Your
by
Honor.
Mr. Dorsey, second by Mr. Barrington. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballot. Mr. Ritchie. That would be 9 yes and 1 abstention.
For,
Motion's carried.
look for consider and authorize the resolution, the issuance and sale of $1 million in sewage, water, and electric system revenue bond anticipation note series 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey. Who second?
John.
Mr. Hess for authorization of resolution for issuance and sale of a $1 million sewage, water, and electric system revenue bond anticipation note series 2023. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. Motion carried 10-0.
That is all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Next up is Park and Recreation, Mr. Bisa.
Thank you, Your Honor. Park and Rec Committee met on Tuesday, August 1st. Meeting was called to order at 5:15. After the pledge of allegiance, there being no changes to the agenda, a motion was by Ritchie. Motion made, seconded by Haas to adopt the agenda as presented. Public input, there was none. Review the London Girls Youth Softball Association proposal for improvements to Memorial Park. Saul introduced Shane Tenney and Cody Callis from the London Girls Baseball Association, Softball Association, to inform and discuss future plans relating to the park and their involvement. On the list of items slated for improvement would be a restroom facility upgrade to include ADA accessibility as a priority. The presenting members have reached out to local contractors with plans on improvements and to estimate costs and consider designs. It was conveyed by the representatives for the organization and that it was doable and wanted to discuss with the committee their intentions. Discussion included that there would be fundraisings toward the project to be able to proceed. The committee agreed that the project was a good partnership between the city and the associations and directed Saul to keep the committee informed on the projects. No motion was made. Consider an agreement of federal certification and assertions for Wisconsin DOT 5310 grant application. Director Saul advised the committee about the grant being filed towards purchasing a new bus for the senior transport program. A portion of the grant requests a document of federal certification and assurances that must be signed. This supports that the municipality is complying with the guidelines required by receiving the federal grant. Director Saul assured the committee we are already in compliance with these standards, considering our current fleet has been purchased with federal grant monies. She recommended the committee approval to have the mayor sign for the grant application. Motion was made by Haas and seconded by Pache to authorize the signing the agreement of federal certification assurances for the Wisconsin DOT 5310 grant application. The motion is carried by all. Consider and recommend to Finance and Personnel Committee to use a designated fund balance trail ATC for Newton Blackmore Trail Bridge design. This agenda item will be tabled due to new information received from the Wisconsin DOT regarding upgrades to the Wisconsin Highway 54 future construction. Director Saul and Administrator Hath will be meeting with the engineer working on the project to learn more in the coming months and will upgrade the committee when they have done so. No discussion or motions were made. Director's report. Director was included in the agenda packet and reviewed by the committee. A huge appreciation to Amcor Green Team for work cleanup days at Pfeiffer and Memorial Park. Recent damage to Newton Blackmore Trail. Someone tried driving down the trail and damaged the fence. Playground damage at Abraham and Hatton Parks. Chairman's report, there was none. Future agenda items, seasonal wage study, fee schedule, budget, possibly finding a designated swimming area within the city limits in the Wolf River. Next Park and Rec Committee meeting will be held on Tuesday, September 5th at 5:15. Motion was being no further discussion. Migalski moved, second by Ritchie to adjourn the meeting at 5:55. I would look for approval to consider the agreement of the federal certification and assurance for Wisconsin DOT 5310 grant application.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Besaw, second by Mr. Fiche. Consider for approval of agreement of federal certifications and issuance for Wisconsin DOT 5310 grant. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. Ms. Belinda. That motion's carried 10-0.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Besaw. Planning Commission, Mr. Ritchie.
Planning Commission meeting was Thursday, July 27th. Meeting was called to order at 5:15. Group participated in the Pledge of Allegiance. Motion was made to adopt the agenda. April 27, 2023 minutes were reviewed. First action item on the agenda was a review of the site plan for Greenville Eye Care Proposal Edition. The zoning administrator recommended approval based on the language in the zoning ordinance that all criteria was met for the application fees and required document submittals. Motion was made by Mayor Herder to approve the site plan, and that seconded by Stein Gravy, carried by all. The second action item was continue discussion about a proposed chicken ordinance. There was a good deal of discussion about the pros and cons of adopting a chicken ordinance. A motion was made by Hunchke to give direction to the zoning administrator to come up with language in the ordinance for consideration. The motion was seconded by Mayor Mark Herder. The motion carried 6-5, 11 voting members. The third item was discussed about the proposal conditional use grant for Victory Church at 1500 Hunchke Drive. The church expressed interest in purchasing the building with the intent to expand religious activities in the building, but would continue to rent out the banquet hall to Crystal Falls business. There was a large discussion and interaction with the committee for the gallery in attendance as well. Several questions were asked that the opinion from the city attorney was recommended. Motion was made by Richie, seconded by Walbrook, to table the topic until the next meeting and direct staff to consult with the city's attorney. The next meeting date was scheduled for Thursday, August 24th. Motion was made to adjourn by Mark Herder, seconded by Gaber. Meeting is adjourned at 6:14. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. Economic Development, Mr. Dorsey.
The Economic Development Committee met Tuesday, July 25th. Meeting was called to order at 5:15. May 30th, 2023 minutes were reviewed. There was no public comment. The committee discussed ideas the city could initiate to assist businesses during the 2024 downtown reconstruction project. Many ideas revolved around different ways to provide regular communication with businesses and community members. Other ideas included a possible shuttle service, walking tours to encourage customer traffic during the construction. The committee's input will be used for a marketing plan for the project. Administrator Hort presented an example from the city of Chicago for consideration as an incentive program to sell the property in the Northeast Business Center. The basics of Shauna's program is having a starting asking price of $20,000, then provides credits or discounts based on job creation and property value increases. Committee members discussed the options of asking price with comparisons with other communities. No motion was made at this time, and Hort will continue to research the topic based on committee feedback. The Chamber's Downtown Revitalization Subcommittee put together a business report card that the subcommittee would like to promote to the community. The subcommittee asked the Economic Development Committee to be a partner in that effort by assisting in the financing of the publication and the upcoming utility bill insert at a cost of around $378. The Economic Development Committee agreed that it was a positive project to highlight the recent economic efforts within the city. Motion made by Bishop, seconded by Croy to finance the cost of the business report insert in an upcoming utility bill, carried by all. The Chamber's Director's Business Report. X Level Activewear opened a new retail store next to Anytime Fitness and has a ribbon cutting on August 14th at noon. First State Bank has announced that they are opening their new headquarters on October 2nd. John's Bar sold the Valley area properties. Current plans are to keep it as a bar. Walgreens recently remodeled the inside of their store. Kapitsky is working with the new property owner at 106 North Water Street to fill the 3 vacancies. The new development south of Subway continues to be built. No new news to share. The property manager at 102 East Cook Street, formerly rented by the Pad, stopped into the chamber to get the storefront listed as a property available for leasing. Bitsy recently met with both the new agents for American Family Insurance and State Farm Insurance. Hillbees in New London Lanes is back on the market for sale, and due to construction on North Water Street, Fall Fest and Wheels on Water Street will temporarily be held on Warner Allen Boulevard for the next 2 years. City Administrator's report. An agent from Wolf River Plaza Strip Mall contacted the city and indicated the owner is looking at selling off the old True Value storefront. The land around the city's billboard on Highway 45 is dry. So Horth asked the billboard company to follow up with an inspection of the billboard structure before a new message wrap is installed later this year. Horth participated in the East Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission input session to update the region's comprehensive economic development strategy. The plan is a required element for submitting applications to the U.S. Economic Development Administration. New London is hosting the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation Regional Downtown Roundtable Networking Meeting at Familiar Grounds on September 14th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The meeting is targeting economic development professionals in the region, but anyone interested in downtown economic growth is invited to attend. The next committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 29th. That is all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Next up is Mr. Hess for capital projects and equipment.
Thank you, Your Honor. Capital Equipment and Projects Committee met Wednesday, August 2nd at 5:45. A motion was made to adopt an amendment to the amended agenda, removing item 5. Motion was carried by all. Fire Chief Mark Wilfer and Fire Captain Don Conant presented the RFPs for the new tender tanker. It was the recommendation of the Fire Chief, the Fire Captain, and the Police and Fire Commission that the bid for the fire tender tank be given to Marion Body. Therefore, additional funding for the fire truck was being requested. Motion was made and seconded to recommend to council additional funding not to exceed $23,000 to purchase Marion Body tender tanker. Motion carried, 1 abstention. Next was Police Chief Schlueter talked on the difficulty on the timing for the budget process, capital request, and ordering police squads. The process for ordering police squads is opened up and then closed, given very little notice, and only time to tell them how many the department is requesting. Police Chief requested that discrepancy to purchase squads during that manufacturer's open time schedule. Motion was made and seconded to recommend council the authority for Police Chief Schlueter to purchase 3 police squads, 1 budgeted in the current 2023 budget, and using designated funds for the purchase of the other 2 squads. Motion carried. Motion was made to adjourn, and the meeting was ended at 6:21. Like to make a motion to approval of the additional funds not to exceed $23,000 to purchase the Marion Body tender tanker.
Motion made by Mr. Hess. We got a second.
Second, Your
Second by
Honor.
Mr. Dorsey. For approval of the additional funding not to exceed $23,000 to purchase the Marion Body tender tank. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion is carried, 9 yes and 1 abstention.
Next, I make a motion to approve Police Chief Schlueter to purchase 3 police squads, 1 budgeted in the 2023 budget, and using designated capital funds to purchase the other 2 squads.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Hess, second by Mr. Ritchie for authorized Police Chief Schlueter to purchase 3 police squads, 1 budgeted in the 2023 budget and using designated capital funds for purchase of the other 2 squads. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion is carried 10-0.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, minutes and reports will stand as read in your packets, and we'll keep trucking along to reports of officers on recent events and announcements to the public. Started off with the mayor's announcements. This month, the only thing I have is appointments of the student reps, and we'll do Park and Recreation first. So Jack Kenninger, is my appointment to Park and Recreation Committee. And for the Economic Development Committee, my recommendation is Wyatt Adamovich and Carson Gregory. Wyatt Adamovich is a current member already. That is all that I have. Move right along, City Administrator, Mr. Hurt.
Thank you, Your Honor. In the economic development minutes, it was reported that on September 14th, we are hosting a Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation Regional Downtown Roundtable networking meeting at Familiar Grounds. If anybody's interested in participating in that, two topics we're going to be talking about is property rehab and marketing. The meetings are typically see attendance by regional economic development professionals, but anybody's available and is interested can attend that. So if you are interested in, let me know. I can help you get enrolled in that. Again, that's going to be September 14th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then we just want to remind everyone, downtown is still open. There's a lot of stuff going on downtown, a lot of construction, but we want to still encourage people to participate in supporting our downtown businesses and pass on the word to that. We also want to thank Grand Cinema Theater and Living Waters Assembly of God Church for opening up their parking lots for public parking during construction. Now, the Grand Cinema Theater, people can park on the north side of that rear lot. Living Waters Church, you can park anywhere except during church activities, which is scheduled from Wednesdays, 5:30 to 8 p.m. and then Sundays, 9 a.m. to noon. But we want to thank both of those organizations for opening up their parking lots and helping us out during our construction. And then obviously, for more information on maps and all this stuff, please see our Facebook pages. We're putting out constant reminders about downtown construction. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hurth. Chief of Police, Mr. Schluter.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to thank everyone that came out to National Night Out this year and made donations to throw the balls at a couple of the clowns that were in the dunk tank, which I think 3 of us are in here right now. But anyways, it was a fun time and stuff. We ended up collecting almost $380 to buy Christmas gifts for children this year. So I would like to thank the community for that. Thank you much.
Thank you, Chief. And you can count me in next year. That was a great time.
Okay.
Director of Public Works, Mr. Garsky.
Thank you, Your Honor. All I have is a few construction updates. The construction that's going on up on Wolf River Avenue, the utility relocate is completed. Hopefully this week, they'll be doing the concrete work, curb and gutter repair and sidewalk repair. And next week, starting the 21st, I hope to meet with the asphalt contractor to start that process and hopefully have that finished up by the end of that following week. Down on North Water Street, things are progressing nicely. They have the water main through St. John Street, and the sanitary main is now complete through mid-block between Lincoln Court and St. John's Place. They also completed all the sanitary lateral repair from Shawano Street to State Street, so that is also complete. We're hoping that everything keeps running smoothly. If it does, they will probably start on the lateral portions in between State and St. John's sometime towards the end of this week. Keep checking our Facebook and website for updates. That is all I have here.
Thank you, Mr. Garsky. Director of Park and Recreation, Ms. Sol.
Thank you. The Recreation Department is offering a free trial week for fitness classes this week. And then next week does start our fall session of land fitness exercise classes. The session runs August 21st through October 7th, and you can register or purchase passes online, over the phone, or in person. And then otherwise, this is our last week of Camp Hatton and sessions classes for the kids. So we just want to thank everybody for a great summer, and also National Night Out as well. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sol. Utility Manager, Mr. Bessett.
Thank you, Your Honor. Contractor struck a traffic pole 2:30 p.m. on July 20th on Shawano and North Water Street. Our crews removed the damaged pole and replaced the signal. On July 29th at 5:41 at 316 Beacon Avenue, tree service dropped a tree on some wires, snapping a pole off. Utilities responded but had no facilities. The pole was a telephone company's. And on August 7th at 6 PM, we received a call of sparks at the top of a pole at 920 Smith Street. Crews responded, repaired some connections and replaced some wire. Took crews a couple hours to completely restore service. And I'd like to thank Carrie Kraus for completing 8 years of service with New London Utilities. That's all I have from the utilities.
And thank you as well, Mr. Bassett. The Fire Chief, Mr. Wolfer, Mr. Ritchie, will you be taking that?
Nothing this month, Your Honor.
Thank you. Looks like all we have is adjournment.
I have one thing I'd like to thank Chad and all the rest of the people in the office for the way they've managed our projects and stuff, because when the shared revenue comes out, we're gonna get a little bit bigger piece of the pie than the average is. I think it's 20% the average. We're gonna get like 25% or something like that. So I'd just like to give them a big thank you for the way they've done everything.
Well said. Thank you very much. And with that, can we have a motion?
So moved to adjourn, Your Honor.
Motion made by Mr. Barrington,
Second.
second by Mr. Robert. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned.
Miller time.